Hey guys, it's April 19th, 2025. So I'm going to do a second views, Shane's views for the week. So there's not going to be much into this one. Just some stuff that I missed from like the last couple weeks. Christy Nome had announced there was $2.7 million slashed in going to Harvard University. That's a lot of money going to Harvard University for what? Again, kickbacks for sure. I mean, you're sending all this money to these schools, to these different countries, to everything else, and it's basically like the same thing over and over again. It's just an endless it's just an endless fuck up in this country that's been going on for too long. Again, where money's going all over the place, and then it's coming back in kickbacks to crooked politicians, very simply. Then you have so we'll get off of that. That was a very good thing. It's not going to happen anymore. That money not going to Harvard, put it into this country doing the right things, and investing it the right ways, instead of putting it in crooked politicians' pockets. There was an event that I wanted to touch up on a few weeks ago. It was a fencing event in Maryland, I believe, and Stephanie Turner, she basically took a knee and would not have her match because she was going against a trans opponent. Of course, Stephanie Turner is a female, and she's being asked to fight a male that's posing as a female, and she didn't want any part of it, so she took a knee, and basically she's facing a 12-month probation for not participating in this fencing event because of her not wanting to partake. And look, again, this is a woman in wanting to go against another woman, not go against a man in this sport or in any sport. So basically, nothing but props for Stephanie Turner, even if she can't be in these fencing tournaments for a year. I'm sure in the long run, she's very proud of the decision she made, and so am I. So then we're going to go to, two more corrupt politicians: Attorney General Letitia James, Senator Adam Shifty Schiff. So you have two politicians now that are being investigated. Adam Schiff out of California, Letitia James out of New York. So Letitia James, she has there's been documents stating that she has residences bought in Virginia. Adam Schiff, there are documents stating that he has residences bought in Maryland, and that they're both living out of these states instead of living in the states that they claim where they're doing their political work. So Schiff, being a senator in California, is supposed to be residing in California, while Letitia James, as an attorney general of New York City, is supposed to be residing there and not in Virginia. So again, these investigations are ongoing. Guaranteed, besides money being stolen, this will be proven correctly, I'm sure. And just two more reasons why these filthy fucking corrupted politicians need to be out of their positions, fired, and be placed in jail. These are penalties. This is against the law. In their positions, you can't do this stuff. So it's illegal. So, and there's many more to follow, but this is a good thing that this is ongoing. And like I said, I guarantee you at the end, it's going to be found that these two are doing nothing but wrong, as many others, when it's all said and done. Also, there will be no Social Security given to illegals. President Trump announced that. That's common sense. You don't come into this country illegally. If you do, there's going to be no Social Security provided. You're going to be caught, and you're going to be shipped out of this country if you're illegal. That's the way it goes. So Tom Homan will make sure of that, and that's the way it is. Don't come into our country illegally. Also, You have the Democrats sticking up and vouching for an MS-13 member, saying that he should be allowed back into this country, or MS-13 members, regardless, are not allowed in this country. They're going to be shipped out. They are illegal and they're criminals. They have, this guy's got an MS-13. Sorry, I'll come back with the name next week. His name slipped my mind. He's not even worth mentioning. But having MS-13 tattooed on your knuckles, I think kind of throws away, if you're trying to hide it, it says that you are a part of that gang. And, the Democrats are just, their whole strategy is just to be opposite of the right way of life, which is crazy because you can't do that. You can't, maybe with some of their crazy supporters, but I mean, overall, I mean, you can't sit here and vouch for criminals, and you have to be sane to the point of, wanting, again, the borders locked down, no illegals in this country, no killings, no drug usage, people doing the right things in life, no robberies. And again, you just have so many politicians and people in government as a whole that have just abused the system. They've tried to get away with it, and they have got away with it for a long time. And now their day and their time is coming to an end. And for the future, that's going to be a great thing. But unfortunately, there's been a lot of wrongdoing, and it's going to be corrected, and it has to be corrected. So what else didn't I touch on? Like I said, there's, I did two of my podcasts this week. This is the second one to make up for the one that I missed last week. So therefore, there's not really as much to touch on in this latest episode, because I kind of was covering the last week plus in the last one that I put up. So, and President Trump this weekend, this is the first weekend that he actually has not left the swamp in Washington, D.C. He's actually hanging out in the swamp. He was golfing this morning at Trump Golf Course in D.C. So, this is every other weekend he's been primarily to Florida or to Bedminster, I think, one weekend, but Florida, either Palm Beach mainly or Miami a couple of times. So again, his first weekend that he's actually staying in the swamp. So he was there the whole week. He was there from last Sunday, and I guess he'll be there at least through next weekend, and then maybe he'll come back to Palm Beach and visit us. So always shout out to President Trump, the best president, the greatest president in United States and political world history. So that's really, I do want to touch on this. Another thing I forgot to talk about a couple weeks ago, Bill Maher visited the White House, had a dinner that Kid Rock orchestrated with President Trump. And Bill Maher, vouched, he's a pledged Democrat, and that's fine, but he does see that the party, the way it's heading, is in a very insane way. So he, has really been against a lot of the things that they've been doing, and he's very outspoken about that on his show. So he had a dinner with President Trump. President Trump actually signed a paper for him that, said that this guy said all these things about me and negative things and all this stuff, but I'm going to sign this paper, give my autograph on it, and, we're going to have dinner together and we're going to talk things out. And Kid Rock was the first one to comment on it, said how great of an evening it was, and that Bill Maher came to him afterwards and said that he's just a regular guy. I mean, that's what everybody says when they finally sit down with Trump, especially if they're not corrupt. If you're corrupt, you don't want to sit down with Trump because you want to break the law, and he doesn't. But it was a great thing, and Bill Maher just said on his show, he's like, he's a regular guy. We talked about things in a normal way, and he's like, he's like, I know that the Democrats hate to hear me say this, but that's the way it is. So shout out to Bill Maher for taking the invitation from Kid Rock, going and having a nice dinner at the White House with President Trump, and that's what you got to do. You got to get all the corruptness out, whether it's Democrat or Republican or whatever, even in the middle. You got to get all the criminals out and put good people in these positions, in this country, especially in the United States of America. So we'll get off of politics and sports. The Chicago Bulls season ended. They lost to the Miami Heat in a play-in game after beating them all 3 times this year, kind of like how the last 3 years ended for them, because the Miami Heat took them out in the play-in the last 3 years. So the play-in, unfortunately, I mean, look, it's a 1-game playoff to 2 games. It could be 1 game if you're the 9-10 seed and you get knocked out like the Bulls did. If you're the 7-8 seed, you actually have the ability, you have 2 chances. You could lose that game, that 7-8 seed game, with the winner going and becoming the 7 seed, and then the 8 seed would face the winner of the 9-10, which happened last night when the Miami Heat took out the Atlanta Hawks. So now the Heat will go face Cleveland. I'm sure Cleveland will slaughter them. The Bulls would have given the Cavaliers the best matchup out of any of these play-in teams at the 8 seed. So out of Miami, Atlanta, or Chicago, the Bulls would have given them the best 7-game matchup. Not to say that the Bulls were going to win the series, but they would have given them tough games. The Heat, I expect to get rolled over. And the Chicago Bulls, like I say this every year since the play-in especially has been designed in the NBA, is you have to make sure that you get a top 6 seed. You do not want to be in that play-in situation, because anything can happen in 1 game. Anything. So the Bulls had an awful game, and they've been playing well. They had won 15 of their last 20 games to end the season, 15-5. That's pretty impressive. That's probably up at the top of the league to end the season in the last 20 games. So to go in and to get beat down like that, now they had a few guys out that would have helped them. Ayo Dosunmu, Lonzo Ball, Trey Jones, all 3 of those guys, if they would have played, they could have helped in different ways: speed, defense, passing. But again, it's 1 game. The Bulls did have their best, technically their best players, Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Vucevic, Bizelis has been playing good for them. So, I mean, technically they had their best players, but I'll tell you what, Ayo, he's a really good player. And I mean, that would have helped them, in that game or to get a playoff spot. He just missed a chunk of time at the end of the year where he had to have surgery, and he'll be back next year. But anyway, that's their season. Raiders, we got the draft coming up next week, so we'll be adding some good pieces to the team. We'll see what happens with that. Yankees, they've won, let's see where we're at. We're 13-7 now. So first place in the AL East, 1 game up on Toronto. I think are we at a 5-game winning streak, I believe? I'm losing track. It's 4 or 5. I think it's 5, and then today we'll just make it like 6, okay, when we beat Tampa again, hopefully. And they're playing good ball. I mean, of course, missing some good pieces. Garrett Cole, they're not going to get back till next year, but some other good pieces that will come back and help them. Giancarlo Stanton, Jonathan Loaizaga out of the bullpen, Jake Cousins out of the bullpen, Luis Heel, starter. So those guys will all come back as the year goes on. And, they're playing good ball right now. Of course, got to stay healthy, got to keep the key guys healthy. Don't want to see any more season-ending injuries like Garrett Cole, unfortunately. Oh, DJ LeMahieu, another guy that will come back that I think at least can provide something, better off the bench in some instances for sure. And so we'll see what happens. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this week. I'll talk to you next week. We'll do another podcast. And until then, see ya.